Hello? I just had a problem. If you were in class, I apologize. I don't know what happened. Oh, hello. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So, Raphael, hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking. You?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to
And
meet
where are
you.
you from?
I'm
Nice to
from
meet you as
Brazil.
well. From Brazil. Okay, wonderful. Nice to meet you. And Anatoly.
Hello,
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. And where are you from?
I'm from Russia.
From Russia. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Anatoly. Okay, wonderful. I just finished a class on tongue twisters, and at the very end, it cut out. Oh, there's Rafa. Welcome, Rafa. And Alejandra, welcome. And Ala, welcome. Okay, so a couple of familiar faces. I apologize about the end of my last lesson. I don't know what happened. Clearly my connection is still working just fine. So I don't know. And I apologize sincerely. So sorry about that.
It doesn't matter. There are many problems with the internet connection with teachers and students every time.
Yeah, it's just that was my first class ever, and it was going so well, and I was having fun.
Survive. Still, you are still alive.
So it's yes, and my connection is still working, so I can go on with the next lesson. So let's just hope that doesn't happen again. It shouldn't. Everything appears to be working correctly, and so hopefully Artur.
Hello, Stephanie.
Artur. Oh, hello?
Yes, hello.
Oh,
Hello.
there you are. Okay. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. And where are
And
you
you?
from? I'm good, thank you.
Well, I'm
And
from Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay. All right. So we should have a few more students joining us as we go. If you were in my last lesson on tongue twisters, this will be quite a bit of a different lesson, much more serious, and more reading based, more discussion based. But I hope you find it enjoyable. I hope you get something out of it. Let's see. Just to introduce myself, I am Stephanie. I am from the United States of Minnesota, the city of Minneapolis, if you're familiar with Minnesota. I've been teaching English. This is my 5th year teaching English. I'm currently living in the Czech Republic, teaching English to children. And before that, I taught English for 4 years in Minneapolis. And before that, I taught English and Spanish as a classroom teacher. So total of 6 complete years teaching. In my 7th year teaching. I love language. I love teaching. And I really hope to help you all improve your English. And one reason why I joined Verbling was I'm excited to work with adults. Most of my teaching experience has been with children, and that's fun, that's wonderful. But it can be draining, and it can be children don't know what they want. So I'm excited to be working with adults who are more able to tell me what they expect from me as their teacher. So please, if you have any feedback for me or any questions, just ask, type it in the chat, message me through Verbling, Verbling page set up soon. And thank you for joining this class today. I'm really excited. All right. So this class, I got an idea for this class after reading a Washington Post article that just kind of made me reflect a little bit on the American dream and its reality in America. Yeah, so just kind of a thought-provoking article, and as I was reading it, I noticed a lot of kind of unique instances of English language use. So I thought it would make a good article and unique, and also as a interesting topic. So that is how with this lesson. I've never taught this lesson before, so hoping it goes well. Are there any questions for me or anything before we go to the article?
No.
No questions.
Okay. All right. So since this is mostly a reading lesson, I thought we would read the article out loud. Reading silently is wonderful, but reading out loud adds a little bit of pronunciation practice as well. So I thought we'd read it out loud, maybe take turns paragraph by paragraph, and then kind of discuss what the article talks about. I would love to hear your views on the article, and we'll go from there. So just quickly going to pull up. Before we read the article, I had one discussion question. Google Docs.
We lost the teacher.
Yes.
Oh.
What is the American dream? American dream.
To be rich, I think.
Perhaps another room. Stephanie? Stephanie?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes. Hello. Is this any better?
Yes,
Now it's better.
we are still waiting you.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
So what did you miss? On my end, it seemed as if everything was working smoothly. So I'm very sorry about that.
Don't.
Please, and thank you, Rafa, for typing that in. Is it better now?
It's pretty better.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
And
Sounds clearly, and your image is clearly clear.
okay, good. Okay. How about the echo? I was a little concerned about being in this room because of the echo.
No, it's without echo. It's quite understandable.
Okay, good. All right, I'm very sorry for that. As I get more familiar with Verbling, I'll know exactly where to be to give you the best connection that I can.
Don't be nervous. Calm down. Get a grip.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so where was I? This article was one that I found online, reading the Washington Post. I found it very thought-provoking, and also noticed that it had quite a few interesting English idioms, vocabulary, and some ideas that are embodied in the American culture. Of course, you can't. Learning a language is learning culture, so that's part of why I chose this article for a lesson. I'm just going to move a little bit out of the way here.
You're escaping from someone.
I was sitting in a stairwell, and I realized that's not the best place to be sitting. All
Be
right.
careful, someone behind you.
All right, so before we read the article, I do have a question just to kind of get an idea of what you already know, or where you're coming from, or just get our brains kind of ready for the reading. I'm going to type that question in the chat. And it is, what do you know about the American dream? What do you know about the American dream? So feel free to type your answer in the chat, or speak your answer out loud. The American dream is something.
I think America is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Many people go there, like immigrants, to find their dreams. But I think the dream, American dream, is only gold, as always. Find gold in everywhere, and to do the better business that you can find. This is not the American dream, the world's dream. This is my opinion.
That's right. Yeah, they used to say the streets are paved with gold. Would be one common saying that kind of talks about that. Good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your opinion. Anyone else?
To be a successful person, mostly to be a rich person. It is like a stamp for image of American dream for foreigners, maybe. We recognized about it from movies, from Hollywood's movies.
Mm-hmm.
It is a general opinion, maybe, about American dream.
Yeah. I feel like that's the common theme of the American dream. However it's phrased is that you can be rich, basically. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think the American dream is about maybe justice, and that anyone can achieve his goals with whatever his background, if he work hard, or it's about industry, if there is industry in work and learning, so he can achieve his goals without looking for maybe gender or religion or race. like that. I think this is the ideal image or for the American dream.
Yeah, yeah, that we're all kind of starting at the same level, and based on hard work can achieve whatever we wish. Yeah, I'd say that's a major part of it. Thank you for sharing.
I'd want to say, teacher,
Hmm.
the American dream, I think is a national ethos of the United States, and it's a set of ideals in which freedom includes the opportunity and for prosperity and success.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah.
And also it's upward social mobility achieved through hard work.
Excellent. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I would say that's a common conception held by Americans and non-Americans alike about the culture of America. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Raphael typed in the chat, a wealthy family, beautiful wife. Excellent. Yes. There's a saying in America that, how does it go? I don't remember the exact phrasing right now, but it's 2 kids, a wife, a dog, and a house. It's the American dream. Good. Anyone else want to comment before we go on?
No.
All right. Good. So that brief discussion was just to kind of set up our mind, prepare us for the reading. A couple of you mentioned the idea that you can work, the effort you put in results in you meeting your goals, and that is a tenet by which most Americans live. And so that's part of why this article, why I enjoyed this article so much, because it kind of exposes a little bit that is a myth. And so I'm going to go ahead, let's see, how many students do we have in the room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share the article. We'll take a minute, the article starts with a graph. So we'll take a few minutes just to talk about the graph, what the graph means, to make sure we're all clear on how to read the graph. It's kind of a confusing graph, or it was for me when I first saw it. So I'm going to screen share that, and we'll begin the article. Okay. All right, can everyone see that?
Yes.
All right, so it's an article from the Washington Post. It was published on October 18. And it is called "Poor Kids Who Do Everything Right Don't Do Better Than Rich Kids Who Do Everything Wrong." So let's start by looking at this graph here. And the title of this graph is a question: is this what meritocracy looks like? And meritocracy is that idea that your success is equal to the effort you put forth. So those who work very, very hard will achieve a high degree of success, whereas those who do not work hard will not. That's the idea of the meritocracy. Are there any questions on that word, meritocracy?
Could you give us a direct link also?
Oh, yes. Okay. Let me copy that. All right. So I will post that in the chat here.
By the way, the best way for sharing a screen if you open two windows and share the second windows, because in that case we can see only what you are going to show us, the
Okay.
second screen, the second window. It is for the future, for practice.
Wonderful. I'm going to do that right now really quick if you don't mind. This is only my second lesson, so I really appreciate the tips. I want to get as good at this quickly as I can. All right, so let's see if this is better. All right, I've got it open in a second window, and I'm going to share the screen, and then so I will share just that window. Ah!
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, so let me go to my other screen. All right. So poor kids who do everything right don't do better than rich kids who do everything wrong. Let's look at this graph here for a moment. We see here the percent in each income quintile at age 40, and it is comparing poor college grads with rich high school dropouts. So we can see that in the lowest quintile, the bottom 20%, there is the same percentage of people are in the bottom 20%, regardless of whether they were college graduates or high school dropouts. So rich high school dropouts are performing or achieving as much income as poor college grads. Let's just take a moment to look at that, and then if you have any questions, I think it's... you can also see that at the top end of the rich high school dropouts, there are almost as many rich high school dropouts who are in the top 20% as are in the bottom 20% for poor college grads. So kind of shocking to see that high school dropouts can still be more successful, at least financially, than college graduates. Are there any comments or questions on that before we begin reading?
Could you summarize what this diagram shows us? Because dropouts, it is unknown word.
Oh, good, excellent, thank you. Yeah, so dropouts, a high school dropout is someone who did not complete their basic education. So American education goes from kindergarten through 12th grade, and that's the mandatory schooling. However, at age 16, you can quit school. You are not required to graduate high school. So at 16 years of age, you can quit going to school and not complete high school or secondary school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it's the cultural connotation in America of a dropout is very, very bad. A dropout is something you don't want to be. People would have a high degree of shame around it generally. So it's considered a very bad thing to not complete.
I used to think so, but after Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Mark Zuckerberg, they all dropouts, university dropouts, but still they are very successful.
That is, yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Yeah, and those are pretty kind of unique cases. In my experience, when someone says the word dropout, it's usually referring to someone who quit school for a bad reason, not because they were pursuing something positive like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were. So typically, yeah, I mean, just a really good point. Typically we would think of a dropout as bad, but then we hear of those cases where dropouts were able to become immensely more successful than even high school graduates and college graduates. Yeah, so interesting, good. Any other comments or questions or anything about the graph?
I haven't understood it properly. How does that mean? So it means that the same percentage of the poorest, we're talking about this first 16%, the same percentage of poor college grads who are the lowest layers of society, I believe, and the rich high school dropouts, they are in the same level of income. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so that's why this is kind of a confusing graph. So I'm glad you brought that up. So this column here is students who come from poor families. So these would be people who grew up poor, who were poor as children, and who went to college and graduated from college. These students, or these people, were all from wealthy families growing up. So even as children, they always had money. Their families had money. So it's comparing people at 40 years of age who started life poor and were poor throughout their lives, but went to college and graduated college. Comparing those with people who were wealthy their whole lives, grew up wealthy, but then dropped out of high school. Does that clarify a little bit?
Yes, thank you.
And I think as we read the article, we'll come back to it, and it will be more clear what it's referring to, or how the breakdown, how it makes sense. All right, so unless there's any other questions, we'll start reading. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick paragraph count here. Is everybody willing to read a part?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. It looks like we have enough for everyone. So I'll start out. I will do this first line and paragraph, and then we'll just go kind of in the order that we are on the Google Hangouts. Raphael, Rafa, Artur, Anatoly, Ali, Allah. So here we go. America is the land of opportunity, just for some more than others. That's because, in large part, inequality starts in the crib. Rich parents can afford to spend more time and money on their kids, and that gap has only grown in the past few decades. Indeed, economists Greg Duncan and Richard Murnane calculate that between 1972 and 2006, high-income parents increased their spending on enrichment activities for their children by 151% in inflation-adjusted terms, compared to 57% for low-income parents. All right, so this article is rather complex. I would like to stop after each paragraph and just kind of discuss just the main idea of the paragraph. Also, any vocabulary or any grammar or just anything that's unclear to anyone. So are there any?
Properly, enrichment activities are activities that you do after class, or for example, another language, or sports or math in another level than
Yes.
Even in the class.
Yep, exactly. So in addition to the basic education, enrichment activities are art, music, sports, language. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Anything else from that paragraph?
And what is crib?
Very good. I was thinking that might come up. So this is a crib is the bed where a baby sleeps when it's a newborn. Okay. Yeah. So basically saying that children are not equal since birth. Good. Good. Anything else? Good. I thought when I first read it, it was interesting to me that just regardless of the numbers, that it was an increase in enrichment activities. That was interesting to me. That that across the board, families were spending more on enrichment activities between 1972 and 2006. So I kind of wondered what changed in our culture that made enrichment activities more important. But then, of course, it was also surprising to see that for high-income parents, it was nearly 3 times higher. All right. Okay, so Raphael, would you like to read the next paragraph here?
But, of course, it's not just a matter of dollars and cents. It's also a matter of letters and words. Affluent parents talk to their kids 3 more hours a week on average than poor parents, which is critical during a child's formative early years. That's why, as Standard Professor Sean Worden explains, rich students are increasingly entering kindergarten much better prepared to succeed in school than middle-class students, and they are staying that way.
Excellent, excellent. Good, so any questions about that paragraph? Any vocabulary, any idioms that maybe don't make sense? I think it's pretty clear.
Affluent parents.
Very good. Yes, affluent is wealthy. Wealthy.
Okay, thank you.
Wealthy, yeah. Yep. So wealthy parents speak more to their children. This wasn't surprising to me, just because as a teacher trained in the United States, it wasn't new to me. But it is kind of shocking to know how much of a difference just language can have on a student's success. And in my experience teaching children in the United States, you could tell a parent who had time to talk to their time.
Teacher?
Yes.
We couldn't hear you.
Oh no. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know what is. Everything on my network looks like it's working perfectly. So please do call my attention if something goes wrong. I basically just said that it is, as a teacher in the United States, it was striking to see the difference in performance of students whose families had time to speak to them versus families who didn't have time to speak to their children as much. All right, so let's continue. Who's next? Rafa?
Okay.
Why don't you do through the 2 lines and then the following paragraph?
It's an educational arms race that's leaving many kids far, far behind. It's depressing, but not nearly so much as this. Even poor kids who do everything right don't do much better than rich kids who do everything wrong. Advantages and disadvantages, in other words, tend to perpetuate themselves. You can see that in the above chart, based on a new paper from Richard Reeves and Isabel Sowell, presented at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston's annual conference, which is on the way.
Excellent, good. So this paragraph is referring back to the chart, and the chart is showing us that disadvantaged people tend to stay disadvantaged, while advantaged people tend to keep their advantages, regardless of the choices that they make. Good. Are there any questions on that section? Is educational arms race clear?
Yep.
Excellent. Good. All right, so we'll carry on. Here is our next paragraph, and it looks like Arthur is up.
Okay. Specifically, rich high school dropouts remain in the top about as much as poor college grads, staying stuck in the bottom, 14 versus 16% respectively. Not only that, but these low-income strivers are just as likely to end up in the bottom as these wealthy ne'er-do-wells. Some meritocracy.
Excellent, excellent. And very good pronunciation on ne'er-do-wells. That apostrophe is showing the missing V in never-do-wells, ne'er-do-wells.
Mm-hmm.
Good, excellent. Yeah, so any questions on that paragraph? Seems pretty clear. So the low-income strivers or the dropouts. And next paragraph, Anatoly.
Okay, and can I give you one more advice?
Absolutely, please do.
Yes, you can see on my screen, I can make bigger the letters or smaller. The best way to make it bigger, it is clear now, but it could be better if it if we could see this text in bigger format.
Okay, so let me see if I can. So like that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Is that better, or should I try a little bigger even?
Yes, yes, yes. It's good.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And one more last advice. When you are presenting, you can only presenter have this feature. You can present your screen, we can see your screen when we click on your screen. But when it is recording on YouTube, other people who are going to watch this video, recorded video from YouTube, they wouldn't able to see your screen only when you are speaking. If you click, if you use presenting feature, when you start on during the Hangout, everybody who not in this class are able to see exactly your screen.
Okay, so is that something I have to do when I first start the Hangout? Or can I do it now?
Yes, I think I can't see it because I am not presenter. It is in your future because you started this Hangout.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure. Oops. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not sure how to make sure. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think, okay.
Yes, it's presented to everyone. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Case, your recorded video will be for everyone with your screen.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Okay. What's going on? Well, it's all about glass floors and glass ceilings. Rich kids who can go work for their family business, and in Canada at least 70% of the sons of the top 1% do just that, or inherit the family estate, don't need a high school diploma to get ahead. It's an extreme example of what economists call opportunity hoarding. That includes everything from legacy college admissions to unpaid internships that let affluent parents rig the game a little more in their children's favor.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So, any questions about this one? This is a lot going on in this paragraph. Is glass floors and glass ceilings clear? That's an idiom.
No, teacher.
No.
Okay, good. So glass, I'm going to start with glass ceilings because that's kind of the more common idiom. A glass ceiling is a barrier that is invisible, that exists for people from disadvantaged situations. So, for example, many businesses have a glass ceiling for women, where women can become, they can get very high in the company, but they can never become vice president or president or CEO of the company. And there's no reason why. And so that's called a glass ceiling, an invisible barrier that prevents people from certain situations from achieving as high as the typical usually upper class white male. Does that make sense?
Yes, now it's clear, both of them.
Good. So then glass floor would be the opposite then. So for a wealthy person, regardless of the mistakes they make, they can't get any lower than a certain point. There's an invisible barrier holding them up from the lowest of the low. Good. All right. And this was a surprising statistic for me. 70% of the sons of the top 1% go work for the family business. It just seems like a large number. Then again, I know statistics are all relevant to what the numbers are. let's see. So opportunity hoarding, is that clear what that means, or what is intended by that statement?
Not completely.
Yeah, so hoarding is when you keep stuff that you don't necessarily need, just out of greed or just wanting it all for yourself. So when it goes on to say that includes everything from legacy college admissions, so that means legacy college admissions would be basically if you are a wealthy family, if the parent of a wealthy family graduated from Harvard, their son or daughter might be admitted to Harvard just because their father graduated from there. So again, regardless of academic achievements, legacy college admissions are being admitted to college simply because of your family history with the college. So that would be an example of opportunity hoarding. Unpaid internships. So those are jobs that college students are awarded that can be, of course, they're unpaid, but they would be for doctors or lawyers. For example, you might have an unpaid internship for 6 months at a law firm only because your dad is best friends with the head lawyer. Something like that. Is that Uh-oh. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, so opportunity hoarding is basically wealthy parents helping their students achieve high opportunities that they may or may not deserve. All right, good. So let's continue. Ali, it is your turn. Here.
Yes. But even if they didn't, low-income kids would still have a hard time getting ahead. That is in part because they are targets for diploma mills that load them up with debt, but not a lot of prospect. And even if they do get a good degree, at least when it comes to black families, they are more likely to still live in impoverished neighborhood that keep them disconnected from opportunities.
Good, excellent. So again, a lot going on in this paragraph. So I'm going to start here with diploma mills. A diploma mill would be a college that isn't well respected, that doesn't necessarily give a very good education, a college that's in it to make money, not to give a good education, but to make money from the students. Of course, in the United States, going to university costs money, a lot of money, and so it is a way for people to make money in a diploma mill. So students may take out debt not knowing any better, not knowing that the degree they're going to get isn't worth very much, and they may end up with quite a bit of debt without the degree to get them a good job. So that's what's meant by diploma mills, that load them up with debt, but not a lot of prospects. So then, and it talks about black families, but it goes for families of any minority, including white and poor. They're more likely to live in impoverished neighborhoods. Impoverished neighborhoods are, you might see the root here, like poverty. So an impoverished neighborhood is a very, very poor neighborhood. And of course, living in a neighborhood, an impoverished neighborhood, there aren't the same opportunities as a upper class neighborhood, simply because neighborhoods are very segregated based on wealth. So that's what that is. Any questions on this paragraph? No?
No.
Okay, good. And you can still hear me? Excellent. All right, so we are at our last paragraph, and we have one more person. Ala, will you read that last paragraph for us?
Yes, sure. It's not quite a heads I win, tails you lose game where rich kids get better educations, yet still get ahead even if they don't. But it's close enough. And if it keeps up, the American dream will be just that.
Excellent. All right, so I'm wondering if this part makes a lot of sense. Heads I win, tails you lose. That just comes from the custom of flipping a coin to make a decision or to decide who goes first at a game. You might flip a coin and you choose heads or tails to win or lose. So this paragraph is saying it's not cut and dry where rich kids stay rich and poor kids stay poor. It's not quite that, but it is close based on the graph at the start of the article. Any other questions on that paragraph?
The main idea of this paragraph that rich people have more good opportunity for achieving success, but conclusion is opposite. And if it keeps up, the American dream will be just that. Maybe I not completely understood that this.
Yeah, it does seem to contradict itself there. And let's see if we can pinpoint exactly where that confusion comes in. So it says it's not quite a heads I win, tails you lose game. So by that part, I think it's saying, I would summarize it as, it's not quite that rich kids stay rich and poor kids stay poor, but it's close enough. So if we were to take that part and this part and kind of ignore the extra, so it's saying it's not a guarantee. Being born rich isn't a guarantee that you'll get a better education and still get ahead even if they don't get a better education, but it is close to that.
Okay, thank you.
And so if that trend keeps up, being so close to that, then that will be the American dream. There's kind of a inference I'm making that then the American dream then would just to simply be born rich. Versus, so completely leaving the meritocracy behind. That your effort, that you will not be rewarded on your merit as a worker. And so then the American dream would just be to be born rich would be the dream. Does that kind of clarify a little?
Yes, thank you.
Good.
That continues on the line that my mate said before. The American dream is only a dream because the opportunities are always the same. Rich has more opportunities than poor people to get the goals, to get the dream, could be, I think, the American dreams is a myth, because some of them, some people could get their dream, but if you are a poor guy, you continue poor always in your life, could be.
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of leads into the final question I had was how does this article agree with or conflict with any preconceptions you had about the American dream? I think that even many Americans don't realize that the American dream is a myth, that simply pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, as we would say, isn't a realistic. It's just not a fact. It's not what happens. Any other comments about that?
Yes, teacher, can I comment?
Yes, please do.
I think this situation is everywhere, not just in America. I've recently read some books about something like that, source of that, like that, for author Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad and why A students works for C students, and he's talking about these ideas in his books. It's about that rich families most likely have financially education or financial culture, as if I can say. So they transfer these education or their knowledge of money and how to deal with money to their children, even if they are not well educated. They have the education about money or about how to deal with money. So that's why they become maybe more successful than the students that only concentrate in their maybe regular education, because their parents are poor and they think the education or the grades is the only maybe investment for them. But it's not true if they don't have, or if they did not try to get the financial education or financial skills. So they end up working hard. Maybe they will earn good money, but they will just stay in a circle, earning money and spending money, not knowing how to enrich themselves or make some investment. So maybe this is the problem.
Wow, and that's interesting. Can you type the name of that book in the chat and the author?
Okay.
Sounds like a great book. I'd really like to read that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would love to continue this discussion, but we are running out of time here. Are there any final comments? Again, I'd just like to thank you for participating. Thank you for bearing with me. I am new at Verbling. I appreciate the help and the patience, and I really hope to see you all in future classes. And I'm also available for private tutoring if you're interested. So.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.